Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the Interesting Modelling Company Sunday service. Drew's having a tidy up down there by the looks of things.
I'm not having a tidy up. I'm just sorting out my cables.
Oh, dearie me. So glad you're on the ball tonight, Drew. We are joined tonight by Ian, Chris, and his nibs down there in the bottom left. Oh, we love you, really. Gents, what kind of week have we had?
Yeah.
Right, fine.
Who wants to go first?
Your rampant enthusiasm is noted, Ian.
Well, it was a week.
That was the week that was.
It was a week. I've done some modelly things, though.
Well, I mean,
Come on, then.
yeah, come on, then.
Show us your modelly things.
I've been working on my one. That's gone very, very shaky. Streaming. One, I've been working on my 1/9 Meng motorcycle. Which has gone from being a collection of sort of grey plasticky bits to a rather chunky power plant in a shortish period of time. Is it me or is that buffering?
Yeah, it's a little bit shaky.
Yeah,
A little bit choppy. I think what you're gonna have to do, Ian, is you're gonna have to go in. There's a loads and loads of YouTube videos on refining your streaming through OBS.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Have a look at that, and it'll talk you. There's literally thousands of them that'll talk you all the way through it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I did a live last night and it didn't do any of that. That's really weird. Anyway, hey ho. So that's that. As you can see, there's lots of little bits of pick out and bits of detail that have been done on there. Some better pictures on the group page of it. But that's my 1/9 gone Meng HP4 racer power plant. I've been working on the.
What paints did you use for that, Ian?
Sorry.
What paints did you use for that?
So I've used different primers, which goes back to the thing about the color card test cards. So this is SMO203 Super Iron 2 over the iron oxide primer over grey primer. So you can just see there's a color tone difference there. There's little bits of champagne gold from the Tamiya lacquer range and satin black, rubber black for the hoses, and again, so there's I think there's about 8 or 9 different metallic shades going on in there, along with monochrome pickup for the bolt heads and stuff.
Who makes the you said something about SMO at the beginning. Who makes that?
Super metallic. It's a Gunze Mr. Color
Oh,
shade.
I know it. Yep.
SM201 to 211 now.
Yep.
Interesting rose gold that I was playing with the other day. That's quite interesting color. But yeah, so that's all it goes into this thing, obviously, it's being the chassis. But yeah, going to be a lumpy thing when it's finished. Big old lump of a bike. But as I said to you before, I'm trying to do it such that it doesn't necessarily screw together. Because I hate the screw heads visible in holes in chassis and stuff. So I've been slowly working out ways to replace it with metal rod and things. That's an ongoing project. I did manage to get Auction Scale Models, a Polish company, do a lovely 3D printed chain set for this. But on it, there's these beautiful Jubilee clips. My focus on them. They're absolutely stunning. And they're on all the hoses. They're just a slide-on fit. They're just fabulous. So I'm really pleased with that. I am building another one of my racing aircraft in a minute. Building that one. Cobra 2, which is based on an armor kit. I'm going to do a bit more work to the ventral intake, but I have, with the help of my friend Billy Campbell, who's into the 3D printing stuff, now got the oil filler, which is unique to this and its sister aircraft, in 3D print to go on there. So that's quite pleased with that. That fits under there. And there's a lot of work still to do. They were a very clean airframe. There was a lot of work to tidy them up. As you can see, armors on the carriage door do not fit closed. So,
Ian, your audio just keeps coming and going.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll
Mike,
muddle on.
Yeah, the little mic that I used last week turned out to be altered. Yeah, so I think I've got an issue with my Wi-Fi tonight. So if I disappear, it'll be a au revoir.
Yeah. Drew, what have you been up to?
I've been deep in Fusion 360 land, really. So I haven't been doing any modelling per se. Just working on the Sea Fury cowling, really, and refining it to the point
this is where 3D printing comes into its own, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's I'll talk you. Shall I talk you through it?
Yeah, go on then.
So that's the cowling part as it comes off the printer, like that, and that literally just snaps away like that. Take a sponge sander like so, press it into there so it matches the contour. And that's the cowling cleaned up. That's ready to use now. And then let's have a look. This is the latest one. So there's another one. You can see that's slightly different mounts and stuff on that one, but it will snap off like so. Again, that's now ready to use. And so this has been printed at just a slightly higher percentage scaling, just to see if I can get it to match the diameter of the fuselage exactly, which it pretty much does now. So there's that. And then there's the prop mount like so, which will just snap away again like so. So this is quite an interference fit, so because I want it to stay central. So this was initially one part. This was all done in one part, but I was getting some artifacting on the external surfaces from where that was creating a thick, creating an overly thick wall. So it's just a case of, well, that's how tight it is. It's really too tight at the moment. So that'll need another little bit of tweaking for further prints. But I'm doing that manually at the moment. See if that'll fit now.
Where would we be without infinite sanding sponges?
So yeah, I'm gonna have to. Oh, hang on. There we go.
There we go.
Right, it's still too tight. But what you will end up with is it'll drop in like so, and then you'll just add some super glue to the back to secure it in place. And then finally, what we've got is
the exhaust.
Oh, nice.
a set of exhausts there, which again will just snap away from there.
Haven't you
And
got an
that is-
extensive hobby part, an electronic thing to do that?
So they'll sit in there like so. Just using blue tack, obviously, to tack it in place. So they will sit. Oh, they will sit in there like so. And then that will sit on there.
Wow.
Yeah, put me down for one of your cows, Drew, if you don't mind.
And that's so yeah, that's where we are so far. So I've almost got this where I want it now. And so the next thing will be to do a spinner, and then see if I can get the printers to play nicely with some blades, which would. But yeah, it's I'm pretty. Again, with me, it's lots and lots of iterations. So this is about 15 or 20 iterations over the last week. You can see a very slight texture on there, which honestly, if I take the 800 grit sander, that's all it takes to get rid of it. So it's and
probably doesn't even need that, Drew. Probably a bit of Scotch Brite will.
No, Scotch Brite won't get rid of it.
All right, okay.
It will actually need. Well, I say that, but I mean, it's to be fair. If you're not doing a high gloss finish, it'll barely notice anyway.
Yeah.
But that's all the sanding it needs, which you can see there. That's an 800 grit. And yeah, I can hear that. I think it's somebody's noise reduction is kicking in again and giving that dripping tap sound. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment. That's what I've been doing for the last week, and that's what. Now I should say I have said this repeatedly on my YouTube model page, and I'll just reiterate it here. This is not a commercial product. This is purely for my my benefit. This is purely done for me, for my own enjoyment. And the reason for that is because our very good friend Roy Sutherland does a beautiful cowling and spinner set and all that stuff for the Sea Fury. And I've got absolutely no intentions of competing in any way whatsoever with Roy. His is probably more accurate than this anyway. So if people want to update their Sea Fury, go to Barracuda and get Roy's beat, get Roy's parts. Mike O'Hare mastered them, so you know the quality is top. So yeah, this is purely for my benefit, just as an experiment, as an exercise in design, if you like, and refining the printing. So it was never. Why I picked the Sea Fury, I don't know. Just suddenly I decided I remember building this back when it was released and thinking the cowling was an absolute disaster. It's an absolutely terrible cowling design in the kit, and so I thought I would see what I could do. But there are no plans to make it available. It's not going to be made available through any of the online retailers. In the absence, I mean, if Roy takes us off the market for any reason, then we'll look at it again. But so yeah, my intent is not to compete with what's already out there. It's just for me.
Fair enough. Christopher, you've been a busy boy, haven't you?
I have. This is a pretty productive week. Mostly, I got the Hawk 81 all together, all rescribed, and I got the correct black British style headrest because these came from a British contract. I had the old photo etch from the old Edward set for the Academy P40B. You use the cowl flaps there. Yeah, it's a delightful little model, and it's I have all the holes drilled out for new machine guns and the wings and the nose, wings, and also the the holes drilled out for the aerials and the wingtips, and I put the insulator in here, and there's a long, you can barely see it. I think if I put my thumb
Good
against it,
Lord.
maybe you can see it.
Yep.
There's a longer piece of wire there for the spring because I've had experience with this airplane before. That three-way junction on the tail is a little strange, a little weird, and it's much preferable to do that kind of stuff now than take a fully painted model and try to drill little holes in it without screwing up. You screw up now, you can fix it. You screw it up after you've painted it and weathered it, then it's not as much fun.
I've got a question here, Chris. The Theron Hampton says, Chris, what is the logo on your shirt?
Oh,
SVSM.
yeah, this is the Silicon Valley Scale Modelers logo, and it's this is the 60th anniversary shirt from last year. Our club's been around longer than the IPMS USA in the United States, and our meeting is next Friday, and I'm excited about that because December was the Christmas party gift exchange. January is the club auction we used to raise funds for our contest, which means we have basically 3 months of pent up modeling to look at next Friday, and I'm really excited about that. So excited! I was working on something else, and I think, Jonathan, you got pictures of it. They're much better than if I just held it up. There's my my Smilodon and her cubs. You know, one cub's got a long tail still. They'll get docked and turned into a Smilodon. But I'm blocking out. I blocked out the positions of these animals on the base. And the next shot, you can probably see the groundwork. I put that in there. I wanted some change in elevation. I also want to put a tree back there behind the mother Smilodon. And then when they all go back on there, it looks pretty good. It's getting there.
I like that.
It's so Aurora. I love it.
Yes. I thoroughly agree with you, Jonathan. That the Aurora feel is there. I didn't really like this company that makes these STL files had a couple of Smilodons fighting and one standing on proudly on a rock roaring and stuff. And it's like, animals don't just do that kind of stuff all the time, but they do this. Big cats lay around all the time. And we know from the fossil record, Smilodon cubs didn't have saber teeth when they were born, much to their mother's delights, I'm sure. And so modern lion cubs in the right scale worked fine. And and the groundwork is just foam, some extra foam I had from something we got, some kind of cookware or something that lent itself to the cause. But yeah, I find that when you do these kind of things, the animals take about a day. Painting the animals is the kind of thing you sit down, you really want, it's kind of obsessive. You get it done in a day, and it's fun and it's straightforward. It's the groundwork that's really complicated. So I figure I'd just flip the script this time. Do the groundwork first, and then do the animal as the last step in the process. And it's fun. The more bases you build, the more you learn. I mean, Spencer could probably tell you this. The more you do, the more new things you can introduce, and the more realistic the base ends up looking. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
I really like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Like I say, it reminds me so much of the Aurora kits from the 70s, which are still available these days.
I was so inspired by those kits as a kid. I'm trying to build what I like to take a collection of the Nationals someday when it's the U.S. Nationals, when it's on the West Coast and I can drive there. I want to take a collection called the Zoo of the Ancients, because I've got a whole bunch of these already built, and I've got a whole bunch of these in the boxes. And it used to be you could only get what was put out by people who dared to do things in resin, and then they'd sell 25 or 30 units. Now with 3D printing, anybody who knocks these things out, it's available to you in any scale. So suddenly I can do a whole 1/20th scale range of prehistoric mammals, totally within my my grasp. And I inveigle on the Honorable Mr. Sutherland to print them up for me. So I sort of keep him in business. I throw him a little money here and there. It's just
when I was in at the show.
No, Ian, your audio's gone. No, audio's gone.
He's got to use sign language.
Yes. We got a comment here from Jet Scale Models who says the Aurora box art for their tanks back in the 60s and the 70s is pretty darn cool, if you ask me. They were very colourful, weren't they, Chris?
Oh, yeah. No, but
Joe Catula, I think, was one of the artists, but it was always these bright primary colours.
Yeah, my father-in-law had the Aurora XM tank box in his garage full of screws and bolts. And I went down there, I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, you could put that thing on eBay and make a fortune. Oh, really? And the next time I went down, what happened to the box? Oh, I threw it away. So, But they were. It was like they had no problem having a magenta sky or a lime green sky with.
I'm just going to
lurid thing.
I'm just going to go and find some just to just so that people can see.
I think while we're talking, somebody was just asking up a bit what resin I was using. Yeah, Richard Griffiths. Drew, what resin are you using? Richard, this is Elegoo's 8K Space Grey. It's just an ABS like, but it's really cheap now.
I see in the comment that Roy Sutherland is complaining about us taking his name in vain on a Sunday. It's very sad.
I would never take Roy's name in vain. Often, really.
Sorry, is that better? Have you got sound now?
Yeah.
Here he is.
He's back. Yeah, here we go. I'm just going to share a screen here. Here is a good example of an Aurora box top. I mean, goodness me. And that's probably one of the more subtle ones. So,
yeah.
They were a bit they were a bit kind of US Airfix mad, and it just seemed to be that kind of thing of more color. Unfortunately, there were no Zeros being shot down by Buccaneers, but give them time. Aurora would have done that.
Yeah, very much in your face.
Yes, a little bit in your face. Right, I'm just going to do a quick update on my projects here. Oh, look, I've managed to get the stickers onto the AMX. There we go. I managed to get the decals onto the AMX. Drew, you've built this. Isn't it a beautiful little model?
It is definitely up there amongst the best models they've ever done.
Yeah, it's a real step up in quality for them. Not entirely sure about those photo etch reinforcement strips.
No, some of it is, some of it is unnecessary, I think. But you understand what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, because I'm building this for display, for the hobby company display, I've got to use the photo etch bits. So ideally, I would have replaced that. I would have actually cut them from tape, but
I got the feeling that they missed them off the tooling and they were a retrospective adding.
Well, they give you loads of spares. So it's an expensive thing to kind of like miss off the tooling, isn't it? But anyway, there we go. There it is. Bit of a save with the shark mouth because I wetted the decal this time last week and then had a look at the instructions, and they don't give you it broken down to go over the undercarriage door, the nose gear door. So I kind of like, oh, right, really? So I started putting another decal onto the tail, but then I woke up the next day and I thought, no, I'm not going to be beaten by this. So I just took that shark mouth decal, carefully marked it out because it was dry by now, carefully marked it out, cut out the shape of the undercarriage door, re-soaked it, lashings and lashings of microset and microsol, and yep, job done. So apart from just giving this a once over with just to check out for any setting solution spots, this will be heading for final varnishing, and then we can put the rest of the stickers on, the rest of the stores and everything on. So yeah, an absolutely beautiful kit. And secretly, I am hoping Mr. Farmer asked me to make the two-seater because I'd quite happily do that. So that's my AMX heading for varnishing. Also today, I did a little bit more trizacting on the Mini, and I also gave it a quick kind of coat of wax just to see how it's going. Honestly, Ian, compared to my past results with car models, this is beyond what I thought I could achieve in terms of a glossy finish. So given that this is going to be a replica of my old Mini, and she was never that particularly shiny in the first place, plus I will be putting a layer of dust and weathering along the bottom and also putting some detritus into the rain gutter around the top there. I think, to be honest with you, that's about as shiny as I need it to be at the moment. And what I have learned from this will be applied to my next car model. So, but yeah, that combination of Trizact and polishing, it's like a polishing wax I've got. It's an actual full-size car thing. Absolutely brilliant.
Is your next project going to be a honking great Tyrrell by any chance?
Yeah, I've got that to do for Russ at Jadlam. And at the other end of the table, this was my Tamiya Comet that I started at Scale Model World back in 2022. Got it back home, and then suddenly realised that the periscope that goes there was missing. All the periscope parts were missing, and that is because a Mr. Marcus Nichols of this parish had apparently lost his or done something to his, so he borrowed mine. Thank you, Marcus. So I've had a word with Mr. Farmer. No job in the fire escape trade just yet, but he is going to sort out some new spare parts for me. What can we say about this? It's a Tamiya kit. It is absolutely gorgeous. I've got the figures are all primed in the spray booth there. And the funny thing is, Marcus's Marcus's build of this, I think, is one of the best comets that I've seen made. So that's very much going to be in the front of my mind when it comes to painting and weathering mine. But yeah, so we have projects on the go. So there we go. Aren't we all productive campers this week?
Yeah, just as a quick addendum, if you like, I've actually managed to get that
in place, yeah.
In place now, and then it's just a little drop of thin CA. Just run in there like so. And that is now about as fixed as a bit gets.
What scheme do you have in mind for your Sea Fury?
I would like to do a Pakistani one actually with this one. But it needs I need to find some markings. But I'd quite like to do a dark earth and midstone and azure blue Pakistani one.
Can't you cut them as masks?
So yeah, a lot of it I'll be able to do, yeah, without any trouble at all. Yeah.
No.
But it's still, you know, there's other stuff like cereals and things like that you won't necessarily get a good mask result with. No, we'll have a hunt around.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that for you because I'm sure I can knock up some artwork for you. So I'd like to build one, and I'd like to build a Canadian one because I do like those Canadian schemes. But I haven't built.
I would really like to build a lot of Sea Furies because everybody knows the Tempest is my favourite World War II aircraft, and the Sea Fury is the is kind of like the logical. It's kind of like the logical continuance of that line, isn't it? It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate expression of the Tempest, really, isn't it? So
the ultimate conclusion.
Yeah. So yeah, I've always. And I know that John and I often nearly come to blows over this, but I really wish Airfix had done single-piece wings with cut lines inside to do a folded wing one. It just, you know, I can remember when this kit was announced, and I thought, oh, they're going to do it like they did with the Seafire 17 and have two complete sets of wings for folded and unfolded, and then they just provided it all broken down for folded wings. And I'm like, oh.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, but
they just snatch it away every time.
The divergence of opinion is that I like building aircraft with wings folded. You don't, so anyway.
It'd just be nice if they'd done that as like a set of spread wings with cut lines inside and everything that you could, you know, do. you know, for those who want to ruin the lines of an airplane by folding the wings.
Jim Alscott says, my brother won an award for his science project about tanks. He built the Aurora M47 Patton tank for the project. I can remember when we lived in a place called Finch Hampstead very briefly, and there used to be a corner store. I remember going in there, this is 1975, and I remember going in there and seeing the Aurora Centurion tank in those square boxes, and just that kind of garish kind of box art. And I just, even as a kid, I remember kind of thinking, don't like that. So anyway, shall we leap ahead to the news? News, right. Let's jump straight in here. We'll play catch up with Kotare. They're doing 30-second scale 109 K4, and this is an actual test shot. This isn't a CAD render. This is actual test shot. Long story short, I think they're onto a winner with this.
Long story short, yes, please, and thank you.
Yes.
I don't build 30-second. Yes, please, and thank you.
It's just a fabulous looking variant, isn't it? The K4 with that tall wooden rudder and the fin, and and that fed in cowling. It's my favourite 109 variant, quite frankly.
Yeah,
it's my favourite as well. So
they acquired a lot of character toward the end of the run there.
In fact, my very favourite 109 variant is the S199, but.
Also, oodles of interesting color schemes for the K4, for the K family, in fact. But those late war kind of bright green, brawn violet. I just love them. Absolutely love them. So yes, this may be, if I can clear some projects off, this may be featuring as a once in the future. It looks like it's going to be slightly more straightforward to build than the Revell equivalent of this.
I just like I say, yes, please, and thank you. That's it. That's all I've got to say really at this point.
Yeah.
I want it.
Fine. Next up, this falls into the category of, why has nobody done this before in 70-second scale? This is newcomers Litaki, and they're doing a 70-second scale MB. Is it a 339, Drew?
339. Supermodel did doing a 339. Did 326s and 339s, but they're very old and not.
Which has been re-released to death by Italeri as the
not particularly great.
No.
Shall we say? So this will be most welcome. Although I have to say, it's Litaki kits do tend on the extremely expensive side,
right?
So I've yet to get their Oreo kit, because it's over 40 quid in this country.
Really?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. For something that is smaller, it's about MiG-21 sized.
Yeah. No, I've been kind of like, I've been casting around to see if I can find some for sale in this country. I've had no luck whatsoever at the moment, but that surprises me, because it's kind of like, I always thought that it looks like a cross between a Jaguar and a Gnat, doesn't it? The
Oreo.
Yeah.
I was wondering if not that MB 339 then, but that threw me for a second.
But
no,
give me the option to do a New Zealand one and stuff like that. So.
It's color schemes galore with this, isn't it?
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Yeah. I had a supermodel kit of this laying around the house, laying around the office, just waiting its turn. I think I went back in the stash, but yeah, the supermodel kit was, to say it was long in the tooth would be an exaggeration, I think.
The supermodel one?
The supermodel one. Yeah.
The thing is, it was only released in about 1995.
Yeah, it just had an older feel to it, though.
Yeah, it feels like a 1970s Italeri kit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
very, very much so. So yeah, it's well overdue. It's well overdue for a new tooling, because it's you know, it hasn't had quite the market penetration of the Hawk, but it's not far off either.
No, I was going to say there are oodles and oodles of color schemes you can hang on it, and I mean we've had 48 scale kits, haven't we? Didn't Eshi do one?
No,
That was
no.
the
Friends are the only people who've done it in 48 scale.
Which one did Eshi do? Was that the 329?
They did the 326.
326, right?
In South African markings in bright orange, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I built that kit a few years ago, if you remember, John, for the hobby company.
Yeah,
I did the Australian dark grey one,
and very nice it was too.
Yes, it did. It did go together very well, actually, for a 45-year-old tooling.
It's, do you know what, that that Eshi 326, it was from that era when Eshi were just world beaters, weren't they?
Oh, they were nailing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think of the real pinnacle of that era for me remains the Viking.
Yeah. I think
absolutely stellar model.
that was from the era when they did the F100. Well, it's the F100s, the Harriers, the F5, and there was another one they did in 72nd scale. I forget what it is now, but no, they were just beautiful kits. I must get round to building one of the F5s at some stage, because I've got a gazillion of them up in the attic, including the Italeri reissue.
I remember about 10 years after Eshi finally disappeared from the scene, these all started appearing at model shows for like £3.50, £4 a box.
Yep.
And everybody was like snatching up handfuls of them, and we've all got attics full of Eshi F5s.
The F5 came back out in the Italeri box a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So and the F100 came out again in an Italeri box with an additional support on the canopy that didn't exist in the real airplane.
Yeah, that was always odd, because people all said, "Oh, it's just the Eshi kits rebox," and then Italeri managed to actually rebox the same variant and screw the canopy up. So something was going.
If you look at the screw layouts of the Italeri kits and the Eshi kits, there are very
the screws aren't the same layout, are they?
Yeah, it's very subtle differences.
Something has gone awry somewhere.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Right, the next news item, and we are, well, it wouldn't be an interesting modeling company show without us talking about our friends at MiniArt, and this is something they've got coming very, very soon. It's the Raupen Schlepper Ost, the RSO Steyr tractor, one of my favorite military vehicles of all time. I built the Max kit, notes, 35 years ago. The Max kit, it was part of that range that Airfix were boxing in the 1970s, but as far as I know, although the Steyr appeared in the catalogue a couple of times, never was released as a kit by Airfix. So here we go. This is MiniArt's Steyr RSO, which, as you can see, doesn't look like it's going to be a quick build. It looks like MiniArt have applied their usual attention to detail.
It's not going to be a quick build. Well, it's just MiniArt then, isn't it?
Yeah, they're trying to be more like AFV Club.
Yes. But I really am looking forward to grabbing one of these, because I do like the Steyr, and I've got a couple of the Italeri kits up in the attic. I've got the slightly apparently misshapen Dragon kit as well, and so I'd like to grab this and just see how it all kind of like hangs together. But oh my goodness me, look at that! That's a model in itself there. It just carries on, doesn't it? Suffice to say, I think however much this is going to be, you're going to get your money's worth. A fair few evenings.
And I think MiniArt tend to be pretty reasonably priced as well, don't they?
I agree.
Sort of like compared to what you get in the box, it tends to be a pretty good value for money proposition.
Yeah. They are one of my favorite manufacturers, as you may have noticed by the fact we're always talking about them on this show. This I thought was brilliant because you get the canvas tilt, but they've also molded tilt detail on the inside. A lot of companies, when they do the canvas, don't do that. So that's a nice touch. Yes, I can see this being a winter whitewash one as per the splendid box art. But yep, I can't wait for this. It's just a fabulous looking vehicle, isn't it? Quite modern looking as well.
Are the tracks linked in length, or are they?
I think they might be Lincoln length. I'm just having a quick whiz through the.
I think they're individual link.
Oh, no.
There's a picture somewhere of a sprue set, and
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
pretty sure they're going to turn out to be individual link. I might be wrong, but that's something I thought I'd seen on their Facebook page.
Oh, Lordy.
But
Well-
it's MiniArt. What do you expect? There'll be five parts per link as well, probably.
No, it's not. I think it's just going to be an individual link, and that'll be it. So it's not like you're going to have to put kind of like guide horns in and all that kind of malarkey. But no, I am seriously looking forward to that, and yeah, I can't wait. Absolutely love the Steyr RSO. Ian, here's a release that is coming from Heller. So I'm trying not to go all kind of like Peter Sellers now. Now this is Heller's a Renault 4, not an entirely new tooling, because Heller produced this kit back in Check's Notes 2015, 10 years ago. But certainly they've done several different boxings of this, but this one with the sunroof, this is certainly a new variant.
Yeah, they've been ringing the changes with some of their car kits, and the new presentation, the new decals are worth the boxes, because the old decals were awful.
Oh, yes.
But the new decals are just lovely. I mean, I got the Alpine A1110 a little while ago, on the strength of a picture of the decal sheet. The decal sheet's about A4 size, and it's cartograph. But it's cute. I don't know whether it appeals to me. There'll be someone who'll think that's perfect.
I think that's a really attractive car.
It's a cute little thing.
I think it's really, really nice. But then I'm a big fan of Morris Minors, so it's got that kind of Morris Minor.
I'm pretty certain my friend Rich Middleton will be all over that like a rash. It's the kind of lunacy he loves. But yeah, and the concept of a new box, because we've put a sunroof in it, great, they'll do. But they've got some interesting stuff coming. They've got a new Renault 205 GTI coming, full new tooling, and they seem to be having a renaissance, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
very, very Franco or French orientated in their product lineup.
When have they never been?
Well, Airfix do the same, don't we? Look at with all the British.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm hoping they do have a renaissance, because this Hawkeye has been interminable.
I think that was the thing that triggered it, wasn't it? It was one of the first things they announced. We're just waiting desperately.
We're still waiting.
I'm just gonna, as a kind of like a footnote to the Renault story, is I have fond memories of getting lifts back from school with my mate Toby when he lived in Bristol. Toby's dad, and I never knew this, Toby kept this very quiet. Toby's dad was a chap called Charles Hannam. Charles Hannam, 9 years ago, got a obit in The Guardian for his work. And we can scroll down here. He was involved with Jewish refugees, and I never knew anything about this. And yeah, it was an absolute revelation. And but I always remember driving around in Charles's little Renault. What a man. I mean, I'll post the link onto the Interesting Modeling Company page. It's slightly non-modeling, non-modeling kind of content, but what
Never
a
stopped us
guy.
before.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about model cars. I think Ian can relate to this. Is that a lot of subjects, specific subjects, and there's some comments about people's families having Renaults, the Model 4. The cars have this resonance because you actually had one, or you drove around in one, or your first one was this, and that makes it pretty special. It makes it a little challenging if you're really an exacting modeler to get the car to be exactly like your family car, but yeah, it's a little bit different from personally. I know this because I have a model of the ship I was on. And the idea of building that thing is nightmarish because it's like building a model of the house you lived in. You know all the details, but the emotional connection is so strong. It's got to be done. And yeah, that's I love seeing cars like this released because not many of us have driven a Ferrari P34. But
Don't think anybody does a kit of a Mark I Cavalier, do they?
Pardon? Oh yeah.
No.
Probably a resin company somewhere. There you go, Drew. There's your next project.
There's an Australian, I think they were Australian 3D printing company who were busily working their way through the Austin lineup. They've done an A30, an A35, and an A40, and they're full kits, and they're beautiful. It's like, the problem is that my last classic that I had that unfortunately suffered an ignominious end was an A35. So we all have something back there with a classic car. 2CV is the case in point. We all had a mad aunt with the 2CV, or a mad uncle with the 2CV, and they'd rumble around the countryside. But they were, so hence, whenever Hella reissue their 2CV, it's like a Spitfire. It'll sell. It's that kind of product. So, the Tamiya 2CV, if you ever get the chance to build one, the Tamiya Beetle. Are both absolutely beautiful kits to build.
Got one in the attic, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm struggling. My back's killing me.
Next news item, Reskit, and they are doing. We're not escaping from France tonight because they're doing a pair of Rafale pilots, but with a bit of a difference. These are 48 scale, so these are for either the Revell or the Academy Rafale. They're doing a male pilot, but they're also doing a female pilot as well, which is brilliant. It's about time that there was more representation in our hobby. And these appear to be, scanned. They're certainly 3D printed, and they come molded to the seat, which is brilliant. I think the heads are optional. So I think with both of them, you get optional heads and optional arms by the looks of things. I just think these look absolutely fabulous. Almost makes me want to build a Rafale.
Well, the only thing that really should make you want to build a Rafale is the fact that it's a Rafale.
There is that, Drew. There is that. there is that. Also coming from Reskit, they are doing some goodies for the ICM Cobras, but they're doing them in the two scales that ICM have done produced the Cobra in 32nd and 35th. So they're doing an AH1G Cobra main rotor, and there it is in 32nd scale. And they're also doing the one with the dust deflector early, and then they are repeating the whole exercise again in 35th scale. So
by changing the scaling on the printer,
yes,
and hitting print again.
That is the joy of 3D printing. So
not a criticism.
No, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, Reskit stuff is quite extraordinary, and I do like the look of these Rafale pilots, though. I see. I add this. See, already, my plan this year not to get sidetracked onto other projects. Here I am thinking I definitely want to build a Rafale now. So we lost Ian. I think he's having technical problems tonight. So
I think Mike Reeves does intakes for a Rafale.
okay. All right, no, we've lost Ian. Ian's back is apparently causing him problems tonight. Can sympathise with that because, as Drew, you'll know, my chronic back issues down the decades. So yes, and in fact, you've suffered from it as well. So
I have from time to time. Yes,
not fun. I do have memories of driving up to Telford one year, and you had my hot water bottle shoved behind your back.
Getting old, it's great. It's such a laugh.
Yeah. Right, the last news item for tonight, and this is our friends up the road in that there Brizzle Antics, and they have just got stocks of the Das Werk Tacom 1/16 scale SD KFZ 250/1 Aus A. Antics are doing this for £69.95, which, considering it's a girt big model, I actually think that's extraordinary value for money.
It's very good value for money.
Yeah. This picture is taken with a telephoto lens, clearly, because those boxes are pretty darn big.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see this large scale stuff show up. Out here, at least, there's a big wave of people building 1/16 stuff, to the point where we had to introduce a 1/16 scale category in our contest. When people put the time in, these things are pretty stunning.
Yeah. No, I see. Again, my plan for this year is to kind of stick to the plan, and then what happens? This blessed hobby of ours just keeps dangling distractions in front of me, and I've at some stage I've got to build something 1/16 scale. Will probably be a Bren carrier, I'm just reading the comments here. Lox9 says walk up the street with that under your arm. Yeah, I don't think that's the kind of model you can smuggle home, is it? But like I say, Antics are doing them for £69.95, which I think that's extraordinary value for money.
It's a big chunk of model, isn't it?
It's a big chunk of money, but
I don't think it's a big chunk of money at all, really.
Yeah, compared to there's some 70-cent scale large aircraft that go for more than that.
Well, we'll just discuss that Litaki RSO, which is north of 40 quid for something this size, a little smaller than a Jaguar in 72nd. So Dave Fleming, anyone know what version of the AH1 will be in production in 1980? Dave, single engine would be AH1S for the US Army with the flat canopy and tow sight and all that kind of good stuff before the step 3 upgrades with the 747 blades and stuff like that. So I've had the original sugar scoop infrared suppressor rather than the later black hole sort of style, and AH1T for the US Marines, which is the original kind of lengthened, enlarged, but still with a PT6 twin pack engine before the Super Cobra from H1T Plus became the H1W in about 1987-88, wasn't it? It started being delivered to the US Marines. So AH1S and AH1T would be the answer there. Unless Chris knows any different.
There you go. Sorry, Drew. I've just been doing a bit of shopping for the Litaki RSO. Oreo. I don't want to say Oreo because it makes it sound like a biscuit. The cheapest one I have managed to find at the moment is £31.88 plus tax plus £6.38 delivery. So
there you go, setting aside 50 quid.
Yes, hear that sound, folks? That's the sound of my plan.
Which takes you straight above 40 quid, doesn't it? I mean, you're looking at 6 quid's worth of best part of 6 quid's worth of tax. and then sort of £4 or whatever on top of that for.
It
for
might
shipping.
just have to be one of those, bit like my Fujimi Phantom back in 1987. It might just have to be one of those things where I just go, do you know what?
Look, I'm not saying it's not worth the money or anything. What I'm saying is I wouldn't buy that to put it on the stash.
Right.
Yes.
If I had an immediate project in mind, like somebody had asked me to build it for a review or something like that, yes, not a problem. But that kind of price compared to what you get in the box, probably not something I'd buy just with vague intentions of maybe building it one day. And I think that's what's happening a lot with models these days. Is whereas previously, a lot of people, and I'm as bad as anybody for it, would buy one or two of something just to go on the stash because it's new. Now you tend to be a little bit more circumspect with some choices, just the way it is.
Gents, any other business?
No, not for me. Nope.
No, none over here. Although I will share to the public group a little montage of the stuff I see next Friday at our club meeting, because like I said, 3 months worth of
3 months worth of models to catch up on.
Yeah, so it'll be exciting.
Excellent. Look forward to that.
Drew, when are you heading up this way next then?
I don't know, John. I'd have to sort something out. The thing is, I don't know, because I'm going to a gig on Wednesday night, and I've forgotten I'm going to a gig tomorrow night. So I've had to rapidly book days off work to go to gigs this week. So
I like that. I kind of extend the offer for you to come up here, and your reaction was, "Oh God."
No, I just said it won't be this week.
No, that's fine. Actually, let's wait until the weather warms up a bit, because I'm not good company in this cold weather at the moment. I'm getting a bit fed up with it, to be honest with you. So I know. You and I, Drew, we are cold weather brothers, aren't we? We always love it when the cold.
What's wrong with you?
Well, yeah, there we go.
Unbelievable.
I'm
shabby.
Drew. Right, what's wrong with me? Right. Are we ready? Are you ready for this, Drew? You ready?
Oh no.
There we go. I just don't like the cold that much these days. It gets in my bones. So anyway, on that note, on that cheery note, a big thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight. God bless you all. And we'll be back next Sunday with another Sunday service. If you find any news, do pin it to our public page or message us. And on that note, I am going to give a big shout out, as we do every week, to Russell Taylor and Simon James Colley, because they keep us going with loads of links. So thank you.
They're the news hounds.
They are. Yeah, they're very, very good. Thanks, gents. So until the next time, we might do another pop-up live. Who knows? Let's see what mood we're in. But until the next time, as always, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye for now.
Bye.